Hi Annie. Instead of directly give you some comments, so actually I would like to know more about your like design process, like your thinking process, like how you create Edens of water, how you create Edens of fire, and why did you do that? Right now, I think you probably need to work more on your gradation, because your gradation, especially for the orange area, you can see there's like really big area of orange gradation. However, the gradations are really subtle. It's almost like I'm reading them as a like a really soft. Well, it's not like a really solid because I still can see the gradation, but at some point, in the perspective of gradation, I think is pretty solid. Is because all of the gradation, all the variations are really subtle, which hardly to notice that is the gradation. And from even though here you want to create Edens of fire because the two opposite perceptual opposite, they're touching each other. However, um, I think this is pretty the I think the blue, all the blue actually, all those blues, shows they're showing up pretty sudden, um, and is kind of a jump out of your design from nowhere. Like I said, the gradation should be step by step. It's nothing but the same with your previous assignments. So the gradation should be step by step instead of jumping to high value to jumping steps, which can cause um, high value contrast. Because right now your design looks a little bit busy over. Well, it's not that busy. It's about figures. I will say this blue, and this blue here are reading. At some point, they're reading as figures on the ground. And you know what? In the beginning of um, looking at your design, I think it's a little bit over honest. The reason why I said that because you have some high value contrast here. They're just like I said, they kind of jump out of your design from nowhere, and it's a really hard to follow your design thinking, like design process. So that's the reason why I would like to ask you more about your thinking process, like why you wanted to do that, and what is the initial purpose of that area, like why you want to create this area and this area, if this is the Edens of fire, and why it's called Edens of fire, etc. But um, right now I think you really need to work on your gradation, because the gradations are pretty solid, and the virus sorry the variations are pretty subtle. So please let me know if you still have any other questions of it. I would like to help.